Good morning, girls.
Good morning, Miss Brixel.
Level 16 is not like the other levels.
Take your vitamin now.
These are the two you asked to see.
She is lovely.
And this is Vivian. If you want to see other options...
We'll buy that one.
I think we've made our selection.
Wonderful.
The film opens inside a quiet, windowless dormitory where young girls prepare for bed under strict supervision. Each girl wears identical uniforms, moves in perfect order, and follows the same routine with mechanical precision. Among them are Vivian and Sophia, two 10-year-old girls who share a bunk and a secret friendship in a place where friendship is forbidden. The girls attend Vestalis Academy, a highly disciplined boarding school that claims to protect them from the dangers of the outside world. Their days are ruled by lessons on obedience, cleanliness, patience, and humility, the four feminine virtues repeated endlessly by the instructors. Any mistake, even a moment of disobedience, results in severe punishment in the mysterious lower levels that no one dares to mention aloud. That night, the girls line up at the sinks for their nightly washing ritual. Each holds her own bar of soap and must complete the task in strict sequence while the cameras watch. When it is Sophia's turn, she accidentally drops her soap and struggles to find it because of her poor eyesight. Seeing her friend in trouble, Vivian steps out of line to help her. The gesture breaks the sequence, and before she can finish, the alarm blares. Guards rush into the corridor, drag Vivian away, and ignore her cries as the others are forced to turn their faces to the wall. Sophia stays silent, frozen with fear as her friend disappears down the hallway. Years later, Vivian, now 16, lives on level 15, close to graduation. She has become quiet, obedient, and disciplined, the model student shaped by punishment and fear. During daily instruction, the girls recite lessons on hygiene and purity, repeating every rule without emotion. At night, they whisper about the day they will be adopted by wealthy families who will take them to a clean, safe world outside the school. Soon, the girls are summoned to the assembly hall where Miss Brixel, a senior instructor, announces that several of them have earned promotion to level 16, the final stage before adoption. The chosen names are Vivian, Ava, and Rita. Accompanied by a limping guard, they are led through sterile corridors to a new dormitory known as the Rose Hall. The walls are bare, the lighting cold, and the air heavy with disinfectant. Inside the new hall, Vivian recognizes Sophia, now grown but still wearing the same cautious expression. Their eyes meet, but Vivian pretends not to know her. She quickly establishes authority over the others, repeating the feminine virtues and instructing them to behave with obedience and order. The girls follow her lead, arranging their bunks and repeating their routines exactly as taught. That night, Miss Brixel distributes new dresses embroidered with each girl's name. She explains that these garments are meant to make them look refined for the families who might soon adopt them. The girls are told to let the dresses air out overnight and may wear them the next day as a reward for good behavior. For the first time, they sense the nearness of their supposed future outside the academy. Excitement fills the room, except for Sophia, whose unease grows. Lights go out. The girls swallow their daily blue vitamin pills, meant to protect them from the unclean air beyond the academy walls. Within minutes, everyone is asleep. Only Sophia stays awake, staring into the darkness. The next day, Sophia approaches Vivian in secret. She insists that something is wrong and tells her not to take the vitamin that night. Vivian dismisses her, still harboring resentment from their childhood punishment. Sophia begs her to trust her once more, but Vivian walks away. That night, as the girls receive their pills, Vivian hesitates. Remembering Sophia's words, she hides the pill in her mouth, excuses herself to the bathroom, and spits it into the sink. When she returns to bed, she pretends to sleep. Moments later, guards enter the room accompanied by Miss Brixel. They silently choose two girls, Vivian and another student, and carry them away. Vivian keeps her eyes closed, pretending to be unconscious. The guards bring them to a brightly lit showroom lined with mirrors and soft couches. When the guards leave, Vivian opens her eyes slightly and watches as Miss Brixel enters with an older couple dressed in elegant clothes. Miss Brixel speaks to them as if they were customers, describing the girls' flawless complexions and perfect skin, untouched by sunlight or pollution. The woman seems hesitant, but her husband insists on continuing. They argue softly until Brixel returns with a tray of champagne. The couple finally selects the other girl, and Brixel escorts them to finalize the transaction. When the guards leave, Vivian remains motionless, her face tight with fear. She is returned to the dormitory hours later, shaken and silent. Sophia, waiting in the dark, tells her they must escape before it is too late. She explains that the vitamins are sedatives meant to keep the girls unconscious while others are taken away. Vivian refuses to believe her. The next morning, the routine resumes as if nothing happened. Later that day, the girls attend a medical examination with Dr. Moreau, the academy physician. The white-coated doctor speaks softly, reassuring them as he injects a vaccine, explaining that it protects them from a disease spreading on the lower floors. One girl faints from pain, and another shows a rash on her arm afterward. Moreau notes everything calmly, then turns to Vivian, asking if she has any skin marks or irritation. She nervously shows him a small sore on her shoulder that she calls a sleep scab. He applies ointment and reminds her to keep herself clean. Afterward, the girls gather for movie night. On the screen plays an old black and white film chosen by Dr. Moreau himself. The girls watch silently while guards stand at the back of the room. When the lights return, Sophia whispers that she has proof the doctor and Brixel are hiding something, but Vivian ignores her again. Days pass in strict repetition. Wake, wash, learn, eat, sleep. Vivian secretly continues to avoid the pills, spitting them out each night. Slowly, she notices the others fall asleep unnaturally fast. Their bodies limp before their heads touch the pillows. Sophia explains that during these nights, guards enter the dormitory and take selected girls away. Vivian begins marking the days on her bed frame, counting each one spent on level 16. One night, Sophia wakes her and tells her to listen. Faint footsteps echo in the hall. The girls freeze as the limping guard enters their room and drags another student from her bed. The sound of the door closing leaves behind an eerie silence. The next morning, Miss Brixel enters with new orders and praises the girls for their composure. She reminds them that purity is the key to adoption and warns them against curiosity, the first vice. The girls nod in silence. Later, in the cafeteria, a student collapses during lunch. Her body convulses and foam gathers at her lips. Some girls panic. Others claim she must be unclean. Guards rush in, carry her away, and the day continues without explanation. That night, Sophia and Vivian whisper in the dark. Sophia confesses that she has stopped taking the pills since level 13. She also reveals that the limping guard enters the room at night and touches the sleeping girls. Vivian's expression hardens as she realizes that the school's promises may be lies. When the next vitamin dose arrives, neither girl swallows. Instead, they wait. Hours later, the door opens again and the guard steps in. Sophia grips a rope she has hidden under her mattress, ready for what comes next. That night, as the lights flicker in the hall, Sophia hides behind her bedpost with the rope in her hands. The limping guard enters quietly, his flashlight sweeping across the rows of sleeping girls. He moves closer to one of the bunks and bends down to touch a girl's face. Sophia waits until his back is turned, then lunges. The rope wraps around his neck, and he thrashes violently, knocking over a chair. She tightens her grip, but he is much stronger than she imagined. With a grunt, he throws her aside, ripping the rope free. Sophia scrambles across the floor, grabs a metal object from beside a bed, and strikes him hard across the head. The guard collapses with a dull thud. Breathing heavily, she checks if he's still conscious, then quickly searches his pockets. Her trembling hands find a key card, the one that opens the doors between levels. Without wasting a second, Sophia slips out into the hallway, keeping low as she runs. But before she can reach the stairwell, the loud alarm begins to ring. Red lights flash, guards shout orders, and Sophia is caught before she can escape. The noise dies down and the dormitory doors seal again. Vivian wakes in the isolation cage the next morning. Miss Brixel unlocks it and drags her to the assembly hall where the entire group stands in rows, silent, tense. Brixel accuses the girls of theft. She declares that Sophia stole a key card and that whoever helped her will face punishment. When no one speaks, she orders that one girl will be punished every day until the card is returned. She signals to the guards, who who sees Rita and take her downstairs. The others remain motionless, staring straight ahead, afraid to breathe. Later that night, Vivian, half sedated by the pills Brixel forces her to take, searches Sophia's bed. Beneath the mattress, she finds the stolen key card hidden inside the seam of the blanket. The sight brings a surge of relief, but when she tries it on the door, the scanner flashes red, access denied. She presses the card again, but nothing happens. Desperate, she kneels and begins to unscrew the hinges on the door, using the edge of the card until the frame loosens. Finally, she slips out into the hallway, dizzy from exhaustion but driven by fear. Downstairs, Miss Brixel sits in the doctor's office, pouring a clear liquid into a syringe. She hears faint noises and turns toward the corridor. "Vivian," she calls, her voice echoing. When the girl steps into view, pale and trembling, Brixel smiles coldly and invites her inside. She speaks in the same gentle tone used in lessons, insisting that Sophia is safe and that Vivian only needs another dose of vitamins. Vivian hesitates, realizing she is being manipulated. As Brixel moves closer with the syringe, Vivian grabs a desk lamp and strikes her across the head. The blow knocks the woman to the floor. The syringe rolls under the table. Vivian picks it up and injects Brixel with her own sedative, watching as the instructor's body goes limp. She takes Brixel's key and races down the narrow staircase to the forbidden lower levels. The air there is colder, the lights dimmer, the walls damp with age. Rows of locked doors line the hallway. From behind them come faint cries and muffled coughing. Vivian follows the sounds until she finds Sophia trapped inside a small cell. She unlocks the door, and Sophia collapses into her arms. Both girls, trembling and weak, cling to each other for a long moment before deciding to keep moving. They enter a chamber filled with metal tables and surgical tools. The sharp smell of disinfectant mixes with the stench of blood. In the far corner, body bags lie stacked in silence. When the girls unzip one, they find Rita, her face missing, the skin surgically removed. Sophia covers her mouth in horror while Vivian stumbles backward. The truth becomes undeniable. The girls who graduated were never adopted. They were harvested. Sophia insists they must go back and save the others. Vivian, paralyzed by fear, refuses. She wants to escape alone. Their argument grows tense until Sophia turns and runs toward the upper floors, disappearing into the stairwell. Vivian staggers through the corridor, past the lifeless bodies, until she finds another room filled with screens. On one monitor, she accidentally triggers a promotional video. The image shows Dr. Moreau in a spotless lab, addressing potential investors. He describes the Vistalis Rejuvenation Program, explaining how perfectly preserved, unblemished skin is grafted from young donors onto wealthy clients seeking youth and beauty. The film displays diagrams of the procedure, testimonials from satisfied patients, and the Academy's symbol in the corner. Vivian stares at the screen, her face illuminated by the glow, realizing the full extent of their captivity. Meanwhile, Sophia has reached the upper floors and gathers the remaining girls. Many do not believe her until Vivian bursts in, dragging the unconscious Brixel by the arm. She throws the woman onto the floor and forces her to tell the truth. Under pressure, Brixel admits everything. The girls were raised as products, their bodies sold piece by piece to the rich. She lowers her head in defeat as the students watch in stunned silence. The girls tie Brixel up and lock her in the same cage once used for punishment. For the first time, the dormitory is filled not with silence, but with whispers of fear and defiance. Sophia and Vivian lead the group down the hall toward the exit. They reach the main door, and when they push it open, an alarm blares through the building. Red lights wash over the walls as guards storm in from every direction. The group scatters. Screams echo as footsteps pound on the tile floor. Sophia and Vivian run together through the corridor, chased by the limping guard who has regained consciousness. He catches up and grabs Sophia, slamming her against the wall. She fights back, clawing at his arm, while Vivian seizes a nearby metal pole and strikes him repeatedly until he falls. The guard lunges again, and they struggle on the ground. In the chaos, Sophia is stabbed, and Vivian, desperate and crying, pushes the man over a rail. He falls into the darkness below. Blood covers Sophia's dress as the two girls limp toward an exit door leading outside. Alarms continue to sound behind them. The other students scatter into the night. When they reach a small maintenance shed, Vivian forces the door shut and locks it from inside. Both collapse on the floor, exhausted, surrounded surrounded by tools and shadows. Moments later, the sound of footsteps approaches. Dr. Moreau arrives with 2 guards, calling their names softly through the metal bars. He tells them he wants to help and that the outside world is dangerous. Vivian doesn't answer. Moreau kneels by the small window and speaks in a calm, soothing voice, revealing that their birth parents sold them to the facility as infants. He promises them safety if they open the door. Vivian slowly rises, her face pale and streaked with tears. She asks him how much her skin is worth. He hesitates before answering that it's worth 16 years of his life. Hearing this, Vivian gives a faint smile, picks up a small scalpel from the floor, and slices her own cheek. Moreau recoils in horror. Her blood drips down her chin, ruining what he valued most. Outside, headlights flash. More guards arrive, calling for Moreau. They inform him that the operation has been exposed and that his failure will cost him everything. He is dragged away, screaming. Inside the shed, the girls lean against each other, weak but alive. Sophia closes her eyes, whispering that they made it out. Vivian wraps her arm around her as dawn breaks through the cracks in the door. The next morning, the sound of heavy boots and radios fills the air. Police officers break open the door and shine lights inside. The girls squint at the brightness, shielding their eyes. For the first time, they see sunlight, real, blinding, and pure. As paramedics lift them to safety, Sophia and Vivian reach for each other's hands. The final image shows them stepping into the daylight together, their faces scarred but free. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe for more movie recaps like this.